Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
जय
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा निशा हरे कृष्णा रीना जी। बोलो शिवा प्रभु हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
ऑलराइट शुरू करते हैं। सो हम लोगों ने वी स्टार्टेड रीडिंग सेकेंड अध्याय ऑफ 10th canto. 10th canto is again, as I mentioned earlier, is the most auspicious and primary skand of Srimad Bhagavatam, all about Lord Shri Krishna. और इस अध्याय में हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं कि कैसे कृष्ण भगवान देवकी माता के गर्भ में आते हैं और ये जब सब देवताओं को जब पता चलता है तो भगवान शिव, लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा और सारे देवता ऋषि मुनियों के साथ उस वहां पर आते हैं और भगवान कृष्ण की स्तुति करते हैं। राइट, तो वही स्तुति हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, काफी पढ़ चुके हैं। एंड देन वी आर जस्ट रीडिंग दैट देवता जो कृष्ण भगवान की स्तुति कर रहे हैं देवकी माता के गर्भ में, इट्स कॉल्ड गर्भ स्तुति, और वही हम लोग अब इस वक्त पढ़ रहे हैं। राइट, सो लास्ट टाइम हम श्लोक 38 पढ़े थे, उसमें ऑल देवताज आर सेइंग, ओ लॉर्ड, वी आर फॉर्चुनेट because the heavy burden of the demons upon this earth is immediately removed by your appearance. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate, for we shall be able to see upon this earth and in the heavenly planets the marks of lotus, conch shell, club, and disc that adorn your lotus feet. Yeah, says Tvat Padke Sushobhane. Right, the lotus feet of the Lord actually also is a mark of Shankh, Chakra, Gada, and Kamal. Yeah, lotus, conch shell, club, and disc. And all devatas are saying we are so fortunate that we will be able to see those marks again on the earth. And again, very nice purpose. We are going to read this. Aniji?
The soles of the Lord's lotus feet are marked with Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma, conch shell, disc, club, and lotus, and also by a flag and a thunderbolt. When Krishna walks on this earth or in the heavenly planets, these marks are visible wherever he goes. Vrindavan Dham is a transcendental place because of Krishna's walking on this land frequently. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were fortunate to see these marks here and there. When Akrur went to Vrindavan to take Krishna and Balram away to the festival arranged by Kans, upon seeing the marks of the Lord's lotus feet on the ground of Vrindavan, he fell down and began to groan. These marks are visible to devotees who receive the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tavanukampitam. The demigods were jubilant not only because the appearance of the Supreme Lord would do away with the burdensome demons, but also because they would be able to see upon the ground the transcendental marks from the soles of the Lord's lotus feet. The gopis always thought of the Lord's lotus feet when he was walking in the pasturing grounds. And as described in the previous verse, simply by thinking of the Lord's lotus feet, the gopis were fully absorbed in transcendence, avishta chetana bhavya kalpate. Like the gopis, one who is always absorbed in thought of the Lord is beyond the material platform and will not remain in this material world. It is our duty, therefore, always to hear, chant, and think about the Lord's lotus feet, as actually done by Vaishnavas who have decided to live in Vrindavan always and think of the Lord's lotus feet 24 hours a day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So a lot of devotees you will see like why people want to go to Vrindavan. And a lot of people plan the retirement in Vrindavan. They buy places and all that so that they can constantly be absorbed in Vrindavan. There are so many sadhu sants. You are always coming across so many devotional souls, the devotional people, saints, right, who are always constantly chanting and thinking about the Lord's lotus feet, similar to the gopis is what is mentioned here. So you meditate on Lord's lotus feet, that's the meditation. Says the gopis were fully absorbed in transcendence. So we'll continue to read the stuti. Ajay.
Natev bhavasya karanam vina vinodam vat tarkayamahe bhavo nirodha sthitirisya vidyaya krita yats stva ye bhayashrayatmani. O Supreme Lord, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this material world as a result of fruitive activities. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world has no other cause than your pleasure potency. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you have no cause of miseries like birth, death, and old age, except when these living entities are conducted by your external energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So who is saying this?
Devatas.
Devatas, right? Doing the stuti of Lord Shri Krishna. And I think this is the purport. Nisha.
When the living entities come to this world for material enjoyment, they are entangled in karma and karma phal by the Lord's illusory energy. But if one seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, one is again situated in his original liberated state. As stated here, Krita yatas tavya abhaya shrayatmani. One who seeks shelter at lotus feet of the Lord is always fearless, because we are dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should give up the idea that without Krishna we can enjoy freedom in this material world. This idea is the reason we have become entangled. Now it is our duty to seek shelter again at the Lord's lotus feet. This shelter is described as Abhaya or fearless. Since Krishna is not subject to birth, death, old age, or disease, and since we are part and parcel of Krishna, we also are not subject to birth, death, old age, and disease, but we have become subject to these illusory problems because of our forgetfulness of Krishna and our position as his eternal servants. Jivera Swarupa Haya Kṛṣṇera Nitya Dosha. Therefore, if we practice devotional service by always thinking of the Lord, always glorifying him and always chanting about him as described in text 37. Shravan Granan Samas Samas Mariams Cha Chintayan. We will be reinstated in our original constitutional position and thus be saved. The demigods therefore encouraged Devaki not to fear Kamsa, but to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who was already within her womb. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So the important part mentioned here is that we are part and parcel of Krishna, right? Because we know that we are not this body, right? We know we are soul. And the soul is related to the Supreme Soul, which is related to Lord Shri Krishna, right? So we are part and parcel of Krishna, but because we have come under this Maya, the conditioned souls, right? So we have become conditioned souls, and we are like influenced by those three modes of nature, right? The Satogun, Tamogun, and Rajogun. We have got into this cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease as a body. But we know that the soul is eternal. So that's why it's saying, like, even though, like Lord Shri Krishna, we are also not subject to this. So at this place, what is being mentioned is our soul. Our soul is not subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. It's the illusory Maya, the conditioned body which we have got, is subject to that. But we will be instead in our original constitutional position, right? Once we start chanting about Lord Shri Krishna, right? Start glorifying him. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Radhasevanam, Vishnu Shmana is what is mentioned here. Yeah? Rinaji?
मत्स्याशव कक्षप कक्षप नृसिंह वराह हंस राजन्य विप्र विबुधेषु कृतावतारः त्वं पासि नस्त्रिभुवनं च यथा धुनेश भारं भुवो हर यदुत्तम वन्दनं ते. O Supreme Controller, your Lordship previously accepted incarnations as a fish, a horse, a tortoise, Nrsimhadev, a boar, a swan, Lord Ramchandra, Parashuram, and among the demigods, Vamandev, to protect the entire world by your mercy. Now please protect us again by your mercy by diminishing the disturbances in this world. O Krishna, best of the Yadus, we respectfully offer our obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So devatas are glorifying that you have appeared in different avatar, like Matsya avatar, we know that, right? Kachwa avatar, Narsingh Bhagwan, we know Varaha avatar, right? Rajanya, like the Lord Ram avatar. Vipra is the Lord Vamandev avatar. So Lord of different avatars you have appeared on this earth. And what devatas are saying is that now, please again protect us. Bharam bhuvo, right? The bhar on this earth, so that can be reduced. And Yadu Uttam is like the Uttam of Yadu, the best of the Yadus of Krishna, because he is taking birth in Yadu Vansh. Yeah. So that's what devatas are calling him, Yadu Uttam, and then Vandanam Te. We respectfully offer our obeisances unto you. Yeah? So it says here, in every incarnation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has a particular mission to execute. And this was true in his appearance as the son of Devaki in the family of the Yadus. Thus all the demigods offered their prayers to the Lord, bowing down before him, and requested the Lord to do the needful. We cannot order the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do anything for us. We can simply offer him our obeisances, as advised in Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskaru, and pray to him for annihilation of dangers. Hare Krishna. Shiva Prabhu?
This Thyamb te kuchigataha paraha pumanan Sachad Bhagwan Bhavaya Naha Mabhud Bhayam Bhoj Pater Mumorso Gorta Yadunam Bhavita Tvatmajaha. O Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, with all His plenary portions, such as Baldeva, is now within your womb. Therefore, you need not fear Kancha, who has decided to be killed by the Lord. Your eternal son, Krishna, will be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So all the Devatas are then talking to Mother Devaki, and they are saying that Te Kukshigata, yeah, in your womb is who? Paraha Puman, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Sakshat Bhagwan. Yeah, who is a Sakshat Bhagwan. He has appeared for with all his ansh, right? And of course, he is going to Bhojipater Mumursho, like he's going to, of course, kill Kans, and Yadunam Bhavita Tvatmaja. He is going to be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Anil?
Tukuvacha Itya Vishtu Purusham Yadupamidam Yatha Brahmoshano Purodhaya Deva Pratyayurdivam. After thus offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Transcendence, all the demigods, with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them, return to their homes in the heavenly planets. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, then Sri Shukvach, and Shukdevji is telling this to whom?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj, right? Srimad Bhagavatam is being recited by Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and Sukdev Goswami is saying, so like after offering the prayers to Lord Shri Krishna, yeah, Purusham, Uttam Purusham, right? Then Brahma, Lord Brahma, Isha, no Isha is the Lord Shiva, Purodhaya Deva, like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and then all the Devatas went back to their Divam, their places. Yeah. Lord Vishnu, the transcendence, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them returned to their homes in the heavenly planets. So we were reading about all this whole stuti, and we also heard it last few days, right? At the end, we were hearing the complete Dev stuti, right? Doing in the garb of Devki for the Purushottam Bhagavan. See the second para, Ajay. Ajay, unmute.
My apologies. The word Kushki meaning within the womb of Devaki, has been discussed by Sri Jiva Goswami in his Kramas Sandarbh commentary. Since it was said at first that Krishna was present within the heart of Vasudeva and was transferred to the heart of Devaki. Sri Jiva Goswami writes, how is that Krishna was now in the womb? He replied that there is no contradictions. From the heart of the Lord can go to the womb, or from the womb he can go to the heart. Indeed, he can go or stay anywhere, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.35. Andatra Siha Paramanu Chayantra Stam Govindam Adipurusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The Lord can stay wherever he like. Devaki, therefore, in accordance with the desire of her former life, now had the opportunity to seek the benediction of having the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her son, Devaki Nandan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is how we saw the whole Devataji Stuti, the Garbh Stuti, and this ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 10th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai.
yeah. So we'll continue reading next chapter, 3rd, which is actually about the birth of Lord Krishna. So far he's in the womb, and then we saw how Lord Baldev was transferred by Yog Maya into the womb of Rohini, and then Lord Shri Krishna appeared in Devaki's womb, right? And now we will read about his birth. Yeah. So start with this, Anisha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Adha Sarvaguna Kalaha Paramashobhanah Yarho Vajan Janmakshana Shantarkshagraha Tarakam Dishaha Prased Durgaganam Nirmaloduganodayam Mahi Mangala Bhuishta Puragrama Vrajakara Nadyah Prasanna Salila Radha Jalaruha Shriha Dvijali Sannadastavaka Vanarajayah Vavo Vayuha Sukhasparshah Punyagandhavah Shuchihi Agniyascha Dvijatinam Shantas Sammindat Manam Syasana Prasannani Sadhunam Suradruham Jayamane Ajane Tasmin Nedur Dundubhayah Samam. Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and the planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the lakes and the vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmins engaging in ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmins who had always been disturbed by demons like Kams and his men felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary system. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is how the environment is being described before, like just about when Lord Krishna is about to take birth. Hare Krishna, Tarun.
Hare Krishna Gajan. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental, and that one who factually understands them is immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. The Lord's appearance is explained in the previous chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the constellation, known as Rohini, was also predominant because this constellation is considered very auspicious. Rohini is under the direct supervision of Brahma, who is born of Vishnu, and it appears at the birth of Lord Vishnu, who in fact is birthless. According to the astrological conclusion, which says the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situations of the different planetary systems. At the time of Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinaji?
At that time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. Auspicious stars were visible in the sky and on the surface in all towns and villages or pasturing grounds, and within the mind of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of water, and the lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forests began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance with their consorts. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the Brahmanas, who were accustomed to offer sacrifices in the fire, found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Because of disturbances created by the demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped in the houses of Brahmanas, but now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. Being forbidden to offer sacrifices, the Brahmanas were very distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities. But just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear loud vibrations in the sky of transcendental sounds, proclaiming in the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shiva Prabhu?
On the occasion of Lord Krishna's birth, seasonal changes took place throughout the entire universe. Krishna was born during the month of September, yet it appeared like springtime. The atmosphere, however, was very cool, although not chilly, and the rivers and reservoirs appeared just as they would in Sarat, the fall. Lotuses and lilies blossomed during the day, but although Krishna appeared at 12 o'clock midnight, the lilies and lotuses were in bloom, and thus the wind blowing at that time was full of fragrance. Because of Krishna's disturbances, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies had almost stopped. The Brahmanas and saintly persons could not execute the Vedic rituals with peaceful minds. But now the Brahmanas were very pleased to perform their daily ritualistic ceremonies undisturbed. The business of the Asuras is to disturb the Suras, the devotees, and Brahmanas. But at the time of Krishna's appearance, these devotees and Brahmanas were undisturbed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is how the atmosphere is being described at the point when Lord Krishna is about to be born. Jaguha Kinnar Gandharva Astustva Siddha Charana Vidyascharyaschcha Nirturpta Asarobhi Samamuda. The Kinnars and Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and Charnas offered auspicious prayers, and the Vidyadharis, along with the Apsaras, began to dance in jubilation. Yeah. So we have read a lot of times about Kinnars and Siddhas, who are like the best singers, Gandharvas, who are the singers, right? Similarly, Vidyadhars, Apsaras who are in the higher planets. And so they all began to sing and dance in jubilation. Anilji?
Mumuchurmanayo devaha sumnasi mudanitaha mandam mandam jaladhara jagarjur ranusagaram nishite tam uddate jayamane janardane devakyam devarupyam vishnu sarva guhashayah Avirasit Yatha Pracham Disinduriv Pushkalah. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is mentioned is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart. Yeah. Mentions here. Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhashaya. He is in the heart of everyone. And he appeared from Devakyam Devarupinyam. Yeah, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night. Follow Lord Krishna Bhagavan ki.
Jai.
So this is how Krishna Bhagavan appeared. We'll continue to read the purport. Ajay?
Sure. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.37, Anand Chinmay Ras Prabhakti Prabhav Vaktibhas Yes Tabir Ya Iva Nija Rapatya Kalola Golka Iva Nivasaste Akhilatma Bhaitu Govindam Adipurusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The verse indicates that Krishna and his entourage are of the same spiritual potency, Anand Chinmay Ras. Krishna's father, his mother, his friends, the cowhead boys, and the cows are all expansion of Krishna, as will be explained in the Brahm Vimochan Leela. When Brahma took away Krishna's associate to test the supremacy of Lord Krishna, the Lord expanded himself again in the form of many cowherd boys and calves, all of whom are, as Brahma saw, were Vishnu Murtis. Devaki is also an expansion of Krishna, and therefore the verse says, Devakyam Deva Rupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guha Saya. At this time, the Lord's appearance, the great sages and the demigods being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was a sound of mild waves, and above the sea there were clouds in the sky which began to thunder very pleasingly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Basically, what is being mentioned is all the cowherds, as we had read in the previous skanda also, right? That all the devtas and all the ansh of Lord Krishna, like Baldev, right? They all appeared together when Lord Krishna appeared. So what is being mentioned is that Krishna and his entourage are of the same spiritual potency, Ananda Chinmayaras, and this is the Brahma Samhita. As we know, like Lord Brahma's prayer to Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. Well, he also mentions the same thing, like his entourage are of the same spiritual potency. Nisha?
When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as one of the demigoddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared to the rising of the full moon in the sky on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon or hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on the night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty, wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition, so by the grace of Krishna, he could appear as a full moon. To welcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the waning moon became a full moon in jubilation. Instead of Deva Rupinayam, some texts of Srimad Bhagavatam clearly say Vishnu Rupinayam. In either case, the meaning is that Devaki has the same spiritual form as the Lord. The Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha and Devaki is also Sachidananda Vigraha. Therefore, no one can find any fault in the way of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sachidananda Vigraha appeared from the womb of Devaki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is mentioned is, as we know, Yaduvanshi is in the dynasty of Chandradev, right? In the hierarchy of Chandradev. Like if you remember, in the previous ISKCON, we also read about all the dynasty of the Surya Dev. Like Lord Ram appeared in the Surya dynasty, and then Lord Krishna appeared in the Moon dynasty. So even though it was the 8th day after Purnima, still the full moon appeared, is what is mentioned. Shiva Prabhu?
Those who are not in full knowledge that the appearance and disappearance of the Lord are transcendental, Janma, Karma Cha Me, Divyam, are sometimes surprised that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth like an ordinary child. Actually, however, the Lord's birth is never ordinary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is already situated within the core of everyone's heart as Antaryami, the Super Soul. Thus, because he was present in full potency in Devaki's heart, he was able to appear outside her body. One of the 12 great personalities is Bhishma Dev, Swambhur, Narada, Sambhu, Kumhara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.42, Bhishma, a great authority to be followed by devotees, says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in the core of everyone's heart, just as the sun may be on everyone's head. Yet, although the sun may be on the heads of millions and millions of people, this does not mean that the sun is variously situated. Similarly, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead has inconceivable potencies, he can be within everyone's heart and yet not be situated variously. Ektavam anu pashyatah Ishopanishad 7. The Lord is one, but he can appear in everyone's heart by his inconceivable potency. Thus, although the Lord was within the heart of Devaki, he appeared as a child, her child. According to the Vishnu Purana, therefore, as quoted in the Vaishnava Tosani, the Lord appeared like the sun, Anugrahasya. The Brahma Samhita 5.35 confirms that the Lord is situated even within the atom. Andantara stha parmanu chantara stha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna is situated in every atom. is how Lord Brahma was glorifying Lord Vishnu. And as we know, one of the 12 great personalities, if you remember, we were reading like the 12 Mahajans, they are known as Mahajans. What that means is they have the full authority on the Vedas, and they are the ones who can explain how the devotional service takes place, right? And who are those 12 personalities? If you remember, yeah, we had Shambhu. Shambhu is none other than Lord Brahma. Yeah, so Shambhu is the Lord Brahma. Then Narad Muni, Shambhu is the Lord Shiva. Kumar, like Sanat Kumars, right? Then Kapil Muni, Manu is the Shambhu Manu. Yeah. So one is Shambhu, which is Lord Brahma, and then Shambhu, who is the first Manu, and he is the actually son of Lord Brahma. That's why he's known as Shambhu, because he's son of Shambhu. Yeah. And like that, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma Pitama, and I think Vyasdev ji and Sukhdev Goswami ji himself are like the 12 great personalities, as we know. And of course, in the very first ISKCON, if you remember, we read the Bhishma prayers, where Bhishma Pitama, when he's lying on those arrows, right, and he could do the Ichha Tyag of his body, he was waiting for Lord Krishna to come, and when Lord Krishna comes, he does glorification of Lord Shri Krishna at that time. Very nice Bhishma Stuti, which we read, right, and heard so many times, the Bhishma Stuti. And of course, it's mentioned in that Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart. What is mentioned? Tarun?
He is situated in Mathura, in Vaikuntha, and in the core of the heart. Therefore, one should clearly understand that he did not live like an ordinary child in the heart or the womb of Devaki. Nor did he appear like an ordinary human child, although he seemed to do so in order to bewilder asuras like Kamsa. The asuras wrongly think that Krishna took birth like an ordinary child and passed away from this world like an ordinary man. Thus, asuric conceptions are rejected by persons in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajo si san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro san. Bhagavad Gita 4.6. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is Aja, unborn, and he is the supreme controller of everything. Nonetheless, he appeared as a child of Devaki. This verse describes the inconceivable potency of the Lord, who appeared like the full moon. Understanding the special significance of the appearance of the Supreme Godhead, one should never regard him as having taken birth like an ordinary child. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tinaji?
Brahmadbhutam balakam bhuje kshanam chaturbhujam shankh gada dayudham srivatsalaksham galashobhikastubham pitambaram sandra payod saubhagam maharhavader वैदूर्य किरीट कुंडल त्विषा परिष्वक्त सहस्त्र कुंतलम उद्याम कांचया अंगद कणादिभिः विरोचमानं वसुदेव ऐक्षत. Vasudev then saw the newborn child, who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes and who bore in his 4 hands the 4 weapons, Shankh, Chakra, Gada and Padma. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa, and on his neck the brilliant Kaustubh gem. Dressed in yellow, his body blackish like a dense cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem Vaidurya. The child, decorated with a brilliant belt, armlets, bangles, and other ornaments, appeared very wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So then the Krishna Bhagavan appears, and this is how Vasudev sees. Yeah, Vasudev and Devaki sees the newborn child, and what is mentioned is, Adbhutam, like the Adbhutam Balakam Ambuje Kshanam. Ambuj is like the lotus-like eyes, and we know like he appeared as a Chaturbhujam, right? So like the Vishnu Bhagavan appears Chaturbhujam with And in all Chaturbhuj, what does Lord Vishnu have in the hand? What are in the four hands of Lord Vishnu?
Shankh, Chakra,
Yeah,
Gada.
Shankh, Chakra, what
Gada
else?
and Padma.
Padma, yeah, which is lotus. Yeah, Kamal. So Shankh, Chakra, Gada and lotus and the Kamal. Sorry, yeah. So Chaturbhujam, Shankh, Gada, Dhud, Ayudham and Sri Vatsa Lakshana. Yeah, on the chest he has the Sri Vatsa and Gal Shobhi Kostubham. The Kostub money, yeah, is Sobhit, like is decorated on the neck, like a necklace. And of course, Pitambaram, right? In the Pitambar uniform he appears. He says Kirit Kundalam, this is how his kundals are described, how they are looking. Sahastra Kuntalam, like how many of, it says the helmets and earring is sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem and decorated with the brilliant belt, armlets, bangles, and other ornaments. He appeared very wonderful. Yeah, Adbhutam is how he appeared, and this is how Vasudev Ekshatra. This is how This is how Vasudev sees Lord Shri Krishna as he appears. Yeah. Let's read this, Anilji.
To support the word Adbhutam, meaning wonderful, the decorations and opulences of the newborn child are fully described as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.30. Barhavatmasam Asitam Buddha Sundar Angam. The hue of the Lord's beautiful form resembles the blackish color of dense clouds. Asvita means blackish and Ambuddha means cloud. It is clear from the word Chaturbhujam that Krishna first appeared with four hands as Lord Vishnu. No ordinary child in human society has ever been born with four hands, and when is a child born with fully grown hair, the descent of the Lord, therefore, is completely distinct from the birth of an ordinary child. The Vadurya gem, which sometimes appears bluish, sometimes yellow, and sometimes red, is available in Vaikunthalok. The Lord's helmet and earrings were decorated with this particular gem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this is how Lord Krishna appears. Ajay?
Vismayo Utfulla Vilochano Hari Sutam Vilok Yakyan Vudant Mistada Krishna Vaturu Sab Sandhamo Asprishan Mutta Dvijabhyo Yutam Lupto Gavam. When Vasudev saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as transcendental festival. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So when Vasudev saw Lord Krishna, he celebrated internally the transcendental jubilation, right? Krishna avataro sau samprabho Krishna. And what did he do? He mentally collected 10,000 cows because Lord Krishna was born. Yeah, says Ayutam. Ayutam is the 10,000 gavam cows, and he donated to the Brahmins as a transcendental festival. Tarun?
Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura has analyzed the wonder of Vasudeva among seeing his extraordinary child. Vasudeva was shivering with wonder to see a newborn child decorated so nicely with valuable garments and gems. He could immediately understand that the Supreme Person of Godhead had appeared not as an ordinary child, but in his original, fully decorated, four-handed form. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear within the prison house of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were interned. Second, although the Lord, the Supreme Transcendence, is all-pervading, he appeared from the womb of Devaki. The third point of wonder, therefore, was the child could take birth from the womb so nicely decorated. Fourth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was Vasudeva's worshipable deity, yet had taken birth as his son. For all these reasons, Vasudeva was transcendentally jubilant, and he wanted to perform a festival as Kshatriyas do to celebrate the birth of a child. But because of his imprisonment, he was unable to do it externally, and therefore he performed the festival within his mind. This was just as good. If one cannot externally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can serve the Lord within one's mind, since the activities of the mind are as good as those of the other senses. This is called the non-dual or absolute situation, Advaya Jana. People generally perform ritualistic ceremonies for the birth of a child. Why then should Vasudeva not have performed such a ceremony when the Supreme Lord appeared as his son? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, what is important is what is mentioned is if one cannot externally serve the Lord, one can serve the Lord within one's mind. Yeah. Sometimes there are physical constraints, but you can always serve the Lord with the mind. Right? And what is mentioned, since the activities of the mind are as good as those of other senses. Right? Like man se वही भाव कर सकते हो. Like we have read other stories where man se, you know, and one of the devotees was doing all the rituals of Lord Shri Krishna, how taking a bath and everything else, right? Similarly, Vasudev here, right? Maharaj Vasudev, he donated 10,000 cows just as a mental perception. Nisha?
अथेनम् हस्तोदवधार्य पुरुषं परं नताङ्गकृतदिः कृताञ्जलिः स्वरोचिषा भारत सूतिका गृहं विरोचयन्तं गतिभिः प्रभाववित्. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharat, Vasudev could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Vasudeva, of course, understood that this is the child who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Yeah. So what he did, Namaste Dev Adharya Purusham, the Param Purush. He is the he is Narayan, and he started, and what he says, Swaruchisha Bharat Sutika Griham, like saying that Griham, Kargra, Swaruchisha started lightening up, and then he began to offer prayers to the child who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. So Vasudeva Maharaj then started offering prayers to Lord Shri Krishna. Yeah. Says here, struck with such great wonder, Vasudeva now concentrated his attention on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the influence of the Supreme Lord, he was surely fearless. Since he understood that the Lord had appeared to give him protection, Gata Bhin Prabhavana, with and understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present, he appropriately offered prayers as follows. So like as you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, right, we get the prayers of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna again and again and again by various devotees, right? Like just before this, we saw the Garbh Stuti, where all the Devatas, including Lord Shiva and Brahma and all Devatas, are prayers of Lord Shri Krishna in the Garbh of Devaki. Now what we are saying is Vasudev, even though Lord Krishna is born to Vasudev, he is offering the prayers. That's what we are going to now read. Right? Arinaji?
Vasudev Uvacha विदितो असि भवान् साक्षात् पुरुषः प्रकृतेः परः केवलानुभवानन्दस्वरूपः सर्वबुद्धिदृक्. Vasudeva said, My Lord, you are the Supreme Person, beyond material existence, and you are the Super Soul. Your form can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I now understand your position perfectly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is how Lord gives darshan to Vasudeva, and he's glorifying Lord Shri Krishna. Yeah, he's of course saying Bhavan Sakshat Purusha Prakate Parah. Yeah, you are the Supreme Person beyond material existence, and you are the Super Soul. And how can you be experienced? Keval Anubhav Ananda Swarup hai. Yeah, Sarva Buddhi Chaka. You can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, and by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Vasudeva Maharaj is saying that he now understands the position perfectly. Shiva Prabhu? Shiva Prabhu? Anilji?
Within Vasudeva's heart, affection for his son and knowledge of the Supreme Lord's transcendental nature both awakened. In the beginning, Vasudeva thought, such a beautiful child has been born, but now Kansa will come and kill him. But when he understood that this was not an ordinary child, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became fearless. Regarding his son as the Supreme Lord, wonderful in everything, he began offering prayers appropriate for the Supreme Lord. Completely free from fear of Kansa's atrocities, he accepted the child simultaneously as an object of affection and an object of worship by prayers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Saiva Swaprakartayedam Srishtavagreti Gunatmakam Taduno Tvam Rim Pravista Iva Bhavyase. My Lord, you are the same person who in the beginning created this material world by his personal external energy. After the creation of this world of three gunas, Satogun, Rajas, and Tamas, you appear to have entered it, although in fact you have not. Yeah. So what Vasudeva Maharaj is saying is that you first created this Prakriti of three gunatmakam, and now you have come, you have appeared here, right? But still you are not in this, right? Basically, he is not affected by those three gunas, right? Even though he has created the three gunas, he is not affected by those three gunas. Is how Vasudeva Maharaj is doing the glorification. Shiva Prabhu, you are there? So, actually, we'll pause here since it's 10:45, and we'll read the purport, very beautiful purport tomorrow. Okay, and we'll continue to read Vasudeva Maharaj's glorification of Lord Shri Krishna. Yeah, very beautiful. So, but we'll pause here and we'll hear a nice meditation on Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Krishna Govind Hare Murare. Yeah, as part of Lord Krishna's birth. So let's hear it. It's around 5 minutes.
Govind, Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, Shri Krishna Govind, Shri Krishna Govind, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, Shri Krishna Govind, Shri Krishna Govind, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, 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 He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, 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 He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govind, Hare Murari, Shri Krishna Govind, Shri Krishna Govind.
All right. So we'll continue to read Vasudev Maharaj's glorification of Lord Krishna tomorrow, 9:30. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.